like them or loathe them, could we give a big hand to Mike, who's going to talk to us about Facebook, because there's no quitting him.
At any point, feel free to come and press... No, don't press the button. You should probably stay away from that. So, Facebook. Everybody on Facebook? Yes. Anybody not on Facebook? I think I win. Okay. Right. My first Facebook friend was Mark Rance. Anyone know Mark? Chance? No, you don't know Mark. My 11th Facebook friend was my wife, who beat me onto Facebook by about 10 days apparently, although she says she doesn't know what she was doing. But she did beat me. But we're going to have a whistle-stop tour, first of all, for about 4 or 5 minutes, just looking at the features of Facebook, in case you didn't know. But I'm guessing that you'll know that Facebook is all about what's on your mind. Could you share with the world what's on your mind? And of course you could do that with a rather ugly background colour if you want to. Some people like to do that, I don't. You could of course share it with the whole world, or you could share it with your friends, or maybe you even like the option of sharing it with your friends of your friends. It's up to you what you share. You can post a picture. Here's a picture of the bishop. You could post a picture, another picture of the bishop, but this time you could actually tag it. Steph, you're tagged in this picture. And tagging, of course, is a way that you link other people on Facebook to your picture. And it's a way of connecting. You could, of course, post a video, if you like. You could, of course, like, love, laugh. You didn't expect that, did you? There we are. You could laugh at things, you could go, wow, you could cry, or you could be angry to show how you feel about somebody else's post, if you like. You could go live on Facebook. Should we try it? Is anyone my friend? Right. There was a desperate call for help there. Right, if you're my friend, this is the time when we're going to go live. I'm on airplane mode because I was playing some music just now. Right, let's see if we can make this work, shall we? And we'll be live to the world. Oh dear, this will be embarrassing. My whole family will see this.
You like selling sandwiches.
I do. Okay, welcome to Facebook Live. We are here in Rotherham with these lovely people who are just about to become my first viewer on Facebook Live. Is anyone actually trying to get on to see this video before I delete it in my show? Have I got some watchers? It's not even telling me. Anyway, we'll keep that there for a minute. You can log on, and that's we'll see what happens. You could be live. You could, of course, have a Facebook group specifically targeted for people with a certain interest, and you could invite people to be part of the group and have conversations and stuff. You could have a page more suitable for a church or an organisation where you can have several different pages within your... Did you just make a rude noise, phone? Was that
no, it was the chair.
It was the chair. I thought we'd gone offline. But this is the Diocese page, and of course you can have lots of information on your page. If you have a page, you can also see who's looking at your page, who's clicking on what, how many views this has had, how many interactions, and all kinds of things, which is helpful if you like statistics. I think I'm going to go offline here now. Has everyone seen enough? I finished. You can have secret groups or closed groups, which are particularly good for either youth work or prayer groups in your church, things that you don't want to necessarily have public world exposure, but actually more of a private content group. So secret groups or private groups. What else can you get on Facebook? You can get fake news. Don't believe everything that you read and that everyone posts on Facebook. Something that we're having to learn over the last year or so about how to trust the internet. You probably get advertising. If you're like me, you get bulb advertising every other day because I signed up for bulb once and now that's it. I'm plagued with bulb adverts for the rest of my life. You have a messenger feature, of course. You can direct message people, so it's not a public thing at all, but you can decide that you're going to send a message to somebody. And this was my conversation with LJ earlier in the week. And if you can play games. Does anyone like to play games on Facebook? It's not a world that I've explored very much. I would say it's too much for time waste, but let's face it, Facebook is... but you can play games with other people on Facebook as well. Now, the reason why I would say use Facebook in your churches are because of some of these statistics. And I find them quite staggering. 88% of all 18 to 29-year-olds in the UK are users of Facebook. That's a huge percentage of people. And if you think, if your church has any interest at all in reaching 18 to 29-year-olds, then maybe, just maybe, Facebook is the tool, or one of the tools that you could use. 84% of 30 to 49ers are in Facebook. 72, so it gets decreasingly amount the older that you are. 83% of women, 75% of men are on Facebook, standard. 83% of Facebook users worldwide are under the age of 45. My promotion is use Facebook in your churches for these obvious reasons. 90% of time on mobile devices is on Facebook. Was that true? What did you say? How many minutes did you spend, LJ, on Facebook?
Was it just under 3 hours a week?
3 hours a week. I wonder what the percentage would work out of your time. But apparently about 90% of time on on devices is Facebook. 85% of Facebook users watch videos with the sound off. If you ever make a video and post it on Facebook, I would suggest you think a little bit about putting captions on, because people listen, or not listen, but watch in bed sometimes.
In meetings.
Or in meetings. I've got my eye on you, John. And I found this interesting as well. Again, if you're going to post as a church, consider the fact that the highest traffic occurs midweek between 1 and 3. It's lunch hour. People are on their phones at lunch hour. If you want your notification or your post to be read by more people, then that's maybe a good time. Alongside Thursdays and Fridays, engagement is higher. Don't know why. Maybe people are starting to think about the weekend. Hey, why don't they come to your church? If you started posting between 1 and 3 on a Thursday or Friday, you might get more traffic. And some other staggering statistics. Every 60 seconds there are 500,000 comments made, 293,000 statuses are updated, 136,000 photos are uploaded. And as LJ shared with us, she's one of these people who goes on Facebook as soon as they wake up, and apparently 50% of 18 to 24-year-olds do the same. They're on Facebook. Show of hands if you're on Facebook before you have cup of coffee or breakfast. So about half through. 50%! I love a stat that's proven on the spot. There we are.
Are you 18 to 24?
We all are in our heads. We're all there in our heads. Right, since January, did you know Mark Zuckerberg only takes a salary of $1 per year? Because he's got plenty already, let's face it. What an amazing man Mark Zuckerberg is to come out with such a profound statement. We may not have the power to create the world we want immediately, but we can start working on the long term today. There's no sarcasm in my voice at all, but that's... and my first picture I ever posted on the 21st of March 2007, just a few days after I joined Facebook. Was my family of 4 at the time at Cusworth Hall. Anyone been to Cusworth Hall? It's a very nice place to be. Oh, you missed out. Oh, you have. Anyway, that was
the hair's improved, though.
The hair's improved. Yes, I
prefer
that was
your
my glory
hairstyle
days.
now.
Anyway, that was 4 minutes on Facebook, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for listening.
Now next, ladies and gentlemen, we've got somebody that can help you if you've got a real bow tie to tie, or if you need to make a souffle, or if you just want to watch a pirated film. So we're going to have Graham talking to us all about YouTube.
Okay. So there we are. I just need somebody to come and press play for me, if you could.
Just here on this
I
side.
can't do anything without somebody pressing the play.
There we go.
No, here.
I can press
Thank
that
you.
one as well.
Oh, thanks. Right. Okay, so like most hugely successful social media platforms, YouTube was started by a few young male computer geeks who were just trying to make it easier to get a girlfriend. And so what they did was they started a site called Tune In, Hook Up, and it was a video dating site, and they quickly changed their name to YouTube. Now what happened was Google bought YouTube for $1.65 billion only a year and a half after they had posted their first video in April 2005. So we're going to watch that video and see what it's like.
Alright, so here we are on the elephants. Coffee's fast, but looks like they have really long fronts. That's cool. And that's pretty much all there is to say.
A classic, I think you'll agree. So the first video was posted by one of the co-founders, Jared Karim, and features him standing in front of the elephant enclosure at San Diego Zoo, and creatively entitled Me at the Zoo. And interestingly, this early version of the YouTube layout, you can actually see evidence of the dating angle that they were taking, because it says, if you can see, oh you can't see it, but I've got it on here, it says, I'm male, seeking everyone between 18 and 45, so not very fussy either. So an interesting fact about YouTube is that at the offices in San Francisco, one of the staircases has been replaced by a slide. Let's take a look at that. Definitely want one of those at Church House.
Just what if they can't feel somewhere?
If you combine Google sites, YouTube is the third most visited site in the UK, with more than 5 billion YouTube videos watched around the world every day. And humiliatingly for the others, YouTube is the most active social media platform in the UK, stomping heavily on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. The most viewed video of all time, with over 4 billion views. Anybody know what it might be? I mean, have a guess. You know, what do you think is the...
Justin Bieber.
Would it? Yes, sort of.
Charlie Bit My Finger.
Yeah, Charlie Bit My Finger was very high up, but it's actually the highest music video was Despacito, which was, I said that with a very good Spanish accent, I think you've noticed. So that's by Louis Fonsi and Daddy Yankee. But yeah, it's like, have you ever heard of it? So some people will have, but Justin Bieber did a cover of it with one of them. So yes, that was it's now reached 5 billion views. Charlie Bit My Finger, I think, was 3 billion. But the highest non-music one is called Masher and the Bear, episode 17. Anybody ever seen that?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Classic.
Day,
I mean, it's a beauty. It's a beautiful one.
I recommend. It's a great show. Yeah.
Have a look at it. Masher and the Bear. It's got 4 billion views. Episode 17. Okay.
This means that I'm the most in touch with pop culture
Yeah,
than anyone in this
with
room.
culture. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, if you just bear with me, there's something I've just got to do.
Spent too long on this.
So that was an uncomfortably long time, but that's buffering for you. Okay, so what we on now? Next one. So, interestingly, with those using YouTube, 60% are male, 62% are male, and 38% are female. If you take out gaming videos from the stats, it's about 50-50. So that shows you how many videos men watch, gaming videos. There's generally an older demographic for using YouTube, other than social media. Other than social media, the largest age group is 35 to 44s. And millennials are far more likely to watch YouTube rather than TV compared with older people. So YouTube's very important, and it's going to become more important as TV goes down and videos on the internet go up. It's predicted by 2021 more than 80% of internet traffic will be video. So quite a significant set of stats there. And just moving on to the next one. So we know video is popular, but how could we use it in our churches? Obviously it's important to think how we can apply it on a day such as this. So we could consider obviously sermons and talks. We can think about notices and church news and that sort of thing. Am I doing this in the right order? I'll just have a look.
Yes.
Stories and testimonies. People love stories, so a great way to tell a testimony, and I think without being too preachy about it, people would listen to a story of somebody's testimony much more readily than necessarily a sermon. A tour of the church tourism is increasing, and great to get something on video about how your church looks, and it breaks down a few barriers. And then youth and kids, etc. These are just some ideas of how video can be used. Are there any more? And mission partners. So you've got people in distant lands doing mission work, a really great way to get more in touch with what they're doing, and people who are giving and supporting them in prayer and finance. Great to get a video back about how they're doing. And that is me done. Thank you.
She's annoying, but she's addictive, and she's definitely politically vindictive. It's LJ for Twitter.
Thank you everybody. Yes, I'm Twitter, so I'm not worried about Facebook. Facebook's kind of different. It's a bit complicated. He's got a bit of an ego, and he thinks he can take over the world. So we're happy with that. We're not going to go with that market. I am, however, a little worried about Instagram, which you will see coming up. So, the characteristics of Twitter. And I will try and stick to my 4 minutes, unlike my predecessors. Twitter is known around the world by the bird logo. This was on my head, but I just thought it was too silly to try and present this, so it's here now. Known around the world with the bird logo. It was set up by a chap called Jack Dorsey in 2006. That makes it 14, nearly 15. Now, just think about that for a moment, because this number is what amazes me. We still think of social media as new, and I still think of myself as fairly young. But I can easily remember, I grew up and went to school in the world without social media. Social media had hardly got a grip on the world by the time I left university in 2003. There's people now that a lot of us in this room probably we're here because we think, well, you know, what do we use it for? How important is it? There's 14, 15-year-olds that were born into a world where this was the norm, and there's 17, 18, 19-year-olds that won't remember a world where this wasn't the norm. So I think it's really important that we do remember that. There's still so many people that sort of see social media as, oh, you're just wasting time, you're faffing around on the internet. I know you're here because you don't think that, but we still need to convince a lot on that one. So, Twitter is characterised, it's really simple, much simpler than Facebook and YouTube in many ways. It's characterised by sending tweets of, initially when launched, 140 characters. That's now been extended to 240. So a person does a tweet, out it goes, and anybody who follows you follows your account will see that tweet potentially. And similarly, you will also follow another person who you hope you would find interesting, and you will see any tweets they put out as well. So the first tweet was sent by its founder, Jack Dorsey. I don't know if you can quite see that there, and it was really ridiculously boring. It says, just setting up my Twitter. So, yeah, tweets are now extended to 240 characters as of 2017, and you can also include GIFs, photos, links to websites, images, links to YouTube, and links to various other things as well. It's an instant messaging service, and once it's out there, it's pretty much out there. It's unretrievable. So it's now got 335 million users worldwide. 17.1 of these are in the UK. Now, Twitter, I've found Twitter are quite coy about releasing stats, so it took some digging to get to this. So that just gives you a bit of an idea. That makes it now the 5th largest network in the UK. I find, when I initially started looking at this, I find that quite surprising. I thought Facebook and Twitter were the main two. Not so. Although it's probably more likely that you've got a Twitter account than an Instagram one at the moment. So the largest amount of users, you can see, are in the middle bracket there, 18 to about, probably about, well, even up to 64. There's quite a big lot of users in there that's fairly age evenly spread. And the male-female split is fairly even too. So users on Twitter, like to check news. It's quite common that you go on there to check news. You would look at what's happening in your local community. 73% of users retweet SMBs. We mentioned that earlier. That's small and medium businesses. 75% use it to check news daily, and 85% look for coupons, reviews and deals. I've never done that on Twitter. I go on Twitter purely to look at news. So I've always been a bit of a news fiend, and years ago I used to be obsessed about buying newspapers every day. I'd buy probably 2 or 3 every day. One of them being the Daily Mirror, one of them being the Telegraph. It was quite a costly habit. I've not bought newspapers on a daily basis at all for about 4 years now, because I look at Twitter every day, and what do I get on Twitter every day? The news immediately. The newspapers report it the day after. So yes, I am. Twitter in me is a little political. It's quite socially active as well. Journalists, I'm sure you noticed, use it now they don't do proper journalism. They go on Twitter in their offices and write articles purely based on what people are tweeting. Do you always see the headlines, Twitter was outraged? So I am outraged quite a lot. It could be just about a candidate on Bake Off. It could be about something that Trump's done. I am outraged a lot. But yeah, so that's pretty much that. How many tweets get sent now? So is Twitter dying? No, it is not. Twitter is not dead at all. It took 3 years, 2 months and 1 day for the first billion tweets to be sent. That number are now sent every 48 hours. That's 500 million a day, 21.6 million an hour, and 6,000 tweets a second. So you've got to, hopefully today you'll find out how to create something attention-grabbing, because that's a lot to compete with. What do you think the most popular tweet ever is? This is universally agreed at the moment to be the most popular tweet ever, and by most popular it means most engaged with, whether that's liked, shared or replied to. It was Barack Obama who released this just after the Charlottesville protests last year. And it says, if you can just about read it there, no one is born hating another person because of the colour of his skin or his background or his religion. Don't know if anybody replied and said, what about the her? And can anybody remember when the Osama bin Laden raid was accidentally live tweeted and the chap didn't even know he was doing it? So when the Navy SEALs, the US Navy SEALs went into a northern town in Pakistan to raid Osama bin Laden's compound and eventually kill him, a chap was sat in his office with his wife and son asleep. He was doing some work, he was an IT programmer or something like that, and he heard the helicopter coming over. He was a Twitter user, and this was quite early days, wasn't it? And he went outside and started tweeting it, saying there's something going on, these loud explosions over there. Nobody realised at the time that he was actually live tweeting the Osama bin Laden raid, so quite an interesting fact. So, I am characterised by celebrity. Twitter's broke down the barriers between us and celebrities. You can see what they're doing, and they like us to see what they're doing, or at least what they would like us to think they are doing. So this is really highlighted here. The top 5 most followed Twitter accounts are Katy Perry, Justin Bieber, Barack Obama, Rihanna and Taylor Swift. How good must Barack Obama be to be at number 3 in that top 5? Because if you look at the next 20, they are all celebrities, not politicians. So he's got an impressive standing there. And some mentionable others, just to put it into context. Donald Trump and the royal family languishing with only 3.8 million. Which is interesting because I have also, with this, alongside this, to give it more context, Googled a few times who is the most universally recognised, most famous person in the world. And the Queen often comes up at the top, yet on Twitter she is nowhere near. The Church of England's own account, there on 84,000, Christian Aid on 84, and Kate Botley, I've put down there because she's got a great Twitter presence, on 97. So very quickly, just in case you are unsure on basically how Twitter works, this is an example here. I'm going to try the laser now, does it work? Yeah. So we've got the Diocese of Sheffield's Twitter account profile there. You can see a picture at the top, there's a logo, bit of a description, there's our tag there, Diocese of Sheff, a bit of an introduction of what we are, where we're based, our website. We were born on the 21st of January 1914, probably not quite born, more created. And joined in June 2009. We follow 477 and we've got 3,344 followers. So I've got an example here of a tweet we did on Development Day. I don't know how many of you were there, but we've got a tweet there that we did out of our account. Bishop Peter begins hashtag DevDay18 with an official welcome to the new diocesan strategy, hashtag renewed, released, rejuvenated. Hopefully some of that language is becoming a bit more familiar with you now. There we've got a picture, there's Bishop Peter there in the background and our logo. So we tweeted that to, hopefully, our 3,344 followers. Any one of them, if not all, could have seen it. Down here, 5 of those retweeted it and 7 liked it. So as it flows through, those 5 that retweeted it were these people here. Some of those you may also recognise. And these people have these many followers. So that's basically how it amplifies if you still don't get that. That is the power of Twitter. It's instant, it's quick, and it potentially goes out very, very quickly as you flow through, and then we've got the big network, because any one of those then could do the same, and onward and onward and onward. So you can see, I could delete that tweet, but if all these have already got it, you've no chance of dragging that back. Okay, that's me.
She's beautiful with or without a filter. It's Steph on Instagram.
My outfit today is just to highlight the fact that this bit is what you see on Instagram, but you just never know what's going on. The rest of the scene. So just take Instagram with a pictures of. Right. Morning. Okay, Instagram. Ta-da. Youngest, newest, coolest, hippest of all the social medias you'll see today. Whatever they tell you, it's all lies. Okay, first things first. Instagram is a visual social media platform. So it is all about this bit, the photo, the picture, the filter, the imagery, which obviously gives you plenty of scope for sharing lovely things. It's all about love and happiness and joy, Instagram. Twitter is just about falling out with people. Instagram, as I say, all about the imagery. There's no limitation on your word count, but don't go overboard with the word count on Instagram. We'll get into that more detail later. The photo or the video, because who needs YouTube? Because Instagram has videos now as well. That is the real focal point of Instagram. It is this bit in the frame, the picture or the video. The Instagram was created in October 2010, so not that long ago. This was the first ever Instagram post. There are lots of photos of dogs and food and cakes and everything else on Instagram, but yes, this was the first ever Instagram post by Kevin, who you can still follow. Kevin, I like that as an Instagram name. In 2012, it was bought by Facebook for around the 1 billion mark. It's probably worth quite a bit more than that now. Yes, okay, fine. There are 800 million active monthly users, which I believe is more than double of Twitter. So there you go, no. It could reach 1 billion by the end of 2018. It probably has already. It's growing in popularity every day. Yes, there you go, more than double the active monthly users of Twitter. 3.5 billion likes a day. So double taps. If you use Instagram, the easiest way to like a photo is just a double tap on the middle of the screen, and you get a little heart come up. Say it takes a second to double tap, to shortcut to like an image. That 3.5 billion, say it takes 3.5 billion likes, it takes a second, so that's 3.5 billion seconds. That equates to 111 years per day spent liking images on Instagram. That's how much people are using Instagram. So it's a big deal. 95+ million photos are uploaded every day. That's a lot of photos. There's a lot of people using this medium to share images. It's a very simple way of doing that. And again, so who needs YouTube? Because when Instagram videos were introduced, more than 5 million were shared in 24 hours. So just use Instagram. Okay, demographics are this lot, basically. 18 to 29-year-olds. Those are some of our lovely Centenary Project workers at a recent day where they took some kids away. The biggest demographic group are males, believe it or not, between 18 to 24. So there's a target audience there that you can reach through Instagram. 90% of Instagrams users are younger than 35. Again, another target audience. So it's reaching the young people out there, and it will. There's that many of them on Instagram that you will reach that target audience. 81% of 18 to 24-year-olds use it. That's quite a lot. Over 60% of users log in daily. I know Instagram is probably my first one that I check in the morning. Because most of you can connect your Instagram to your Facebook and your Twitter feed anyway, so if you've seen it on one social media platform, it's probably the same thing repeated on the others. So it just depends where your preference is. Facebook isn't cool. For this demographic, Facebook isn't the first thing they'll check. They will still use Facebook to connect with family, to run groups, because you don't have that on Instagram. So if you're a youth worker and you're in a youth group, you can do that on Facebook. So they will still use Facebook, but for themselves personally, Instagram is the first place that they're going to go, the first thing they're going to look at. And oversharing. It used to be that Facebook or Twitter was just a stream of consciousness. Every thought, everything came out from your head onto your social media. It just isn't the done thing for people of this demographic anymore. They're much more private than you would probably believe. So oversharing is a thing of the past, whereas Instagram, it isn't used for that kind of connection anymore with the people around you. Right. This, does anybody know Kylie Jenner? As the room? Excellent. She's unfathomably famous, but for no real reason at all. But this is the most liked Instagram post on Facebook. This was the announcement of her birth of her baby daughter, Stormy. That has, I can't read it, what does it say? Over 18 million likes. Just that one photo. There are less people in Chile that have liked this photo, which just tells you how many people are on Instagram. Yeah. And that is still going up. There are still people quite late to the game liking this image. And then there are nearly 2 million comments. It's just people getting on board on the bandwagon, really, saying they commented on that photo. I've got a stat about that one. Oh yeah, Guinea-Bissau has less people than have commented on this photo. There you go, if you even know where Guinea-Bissau is. So we're going to go into a couple of things. We'll cover in more detail what you need to be careful of with Instagram later, but these are a couple of the more high-profile fails, if you like, on Instagram. So that's the top post. These are the ones that went wrong. Sunny Clothing promised free swimsuits, these I think they're called Baywatch swimsuits, for every post and retag of their image, of their Facebook post. And it went viral, because if all you've got to do is like, double tap, take a second, and then share it again to get a free swimsuit that's worth $65, I would do that in no time at all. So it went over 3,000 reposts in just a few hours. So the financial impact of this was considerable. They ended up having to put a cap on it after just a few hours and completely change the whole idea of the offer because people went crazy for it. Here's a better one that I like. Warburton's wanted people to post creations of crumpets, of a creative way of using a crumpet for a meal. And this is the type of thing they were expecting. They asked people to use the hashtag *CrumpetCreations in this, right, which I quite like the idea of, and this looks very nice. This one is my favourite. I actually think that looks quite tasty. Again, basic breakfast crumpet. So this is the thing they were after. They didn't research their hashtag before they asked people to use the hashtag *CrumpetCreations. And this is what people also use the hashtag. These are what people do on the weekend. This is Crumpet Creations. They dress in great furry outfits and wear them with other people who create furry outfits and wear them. So this was what Warburton's actually got back when they asked people to hashtag COVID creations. So just, we'll cover hashtags again a lot on my talk, but just check first before you ask people to use a hashtag, because you just never know. And I think that's me done. Very brief.